What if I told you that right now you could cut a piece off a common houseplant, stick it in a glass of water on your kitchen counter, and watch it grow roots, sprout new leaves, and thrive indefinitely without ever touching soil? No pots, no dirt, no mess, no expensive potting mix, just water and a container. Sounds too simple to work, right? But here's what's fascinating. This isn't some new gardening hack. Hydroponics, growing plants in water, has been understood for over a century. Commercial greenhouse operations use it to grow millions of dollars worth of crops. Yet somehow, most people still believe that plants absolutely require soil to survive. They don't. Soil is just a delivery system for water and nutrients. And for certain plants, you can eliminate the middleman entirely. There are 18 common houseplants, plants you've probably seen in stores or already own, that will not only survive in plain water, but actually thrive, growing faster and healthier than they would in soil. No root rot, no overwatering issues, no fungus nets, no guessing whether you've watered enough or too much. Just clean, simple, visible growth happening right in front of you. Some of these plants can live in water for years. Some will flower. Some will propagate themselves, giving you dozens of new plants from a single cutting. And every single one of them costs nothing if you already have the parent plant or know someone who does. This is the growing method that makes plant parenthood almost foolproof. Let's start with the easiest ones first. Plant number 1, pothos. If you've ever walked into an office building and seen vines cascading down from shelves or climbing up walls, chances are you are looking at pothos. Pothos is damn near indestructible, and it absolutely thrives in water. Take a cutting anywhere along the vine. Just make sure it has at least one node, which is that little bump where leaves emerge. Stick it in a jar of water. Within a week, you'll see roots beginning to form. Within 2 weeks, those roots will be substantial, and the plant will just keep growing. Here's what makes pothos perfect for water growing. It actually prefers consistent moisture. In soil, people constantly struggle with overwatering or underwatering. In water, that problem disappears entirely. The vines will grow longer. The leaves will get bigger. You can keep it in the same jar for years, just topping off the water as it evaporates. If you want to get fancy, you can add a diluted liquid fertilizer once a month. But honestly, plain tap water works fine for most people. Pothos comes in multiple varieties: golden pothos, marble queen, neon, jade. All of them grow beautifully in water. This is the plant that proves the concept. If you've never tried water propagation before, start here. Philodendrons are closely related to pothos, and they grow in water using the exact same method. The heartleaf philodendron, the one with the classic heart-shaped leaves, is particularly well suited to water culture. Cut below a node, place in water, watch it root and grow. Philodendrons are popular in homes and offices, specifically because they tolerate low light and neglect. In water, they become even more forgiving. You can grow them in decorative glass containers, old bottles, mason jars, anything that holds water. The roots become part of the display, creating an interesting visual element you don't get with soil. One advantage of growing philodendrons in water: you can see exactly when roots need more space. When they start getting crowded, you simply move the plant to a larger container. No repotting, no soil mess. Spider plants produce babies, small plantlets that dangle from the mother plant on long stems. Normally, people root these babies in soil, but they root faster and more reliably in water. Snip off a baby plantlet. Place it in a shallow dish or jar of water, making sure the base is submerged but the leaves stay dry. Roots appear within days. Once the roots are an inch or two long, you can either transfer to soil or just leave it in water permanently. Spider plants grown in water develop thick white root systems that look almost ornamental. They continue producing their characteristic arching leaves and will even generate their own babies while living in water. This is a plant that can turn one spider plant into 50 spider plants with zero cost and minimal effort. Lucky bamboo isn't actually bamboo. It's a type of Dracaena, but it's been grown in water for so long in Asian cultures that most people don't even realize it can grow in soil. You've probably seen it in stores, those twisted or braided stalks sitting in decorative containers with just water and pebbles. It can live like that for years, literally years. Change the water every couple of weeks. Add a tiny amount of liquid fertilizer occasionally. Lucky bamboo tolerates low light, making it perfect for interior spaces far from windows. The stalks won't grow much taller, but they'll stay green and healthy indefinitely. If you want to propagate it, cut a stalk into sections, making sure each section has at least one node. Place in water, and each section will root and grow. English ivy has a reputation for being invasive outdoors, but indoors in water, it's a beautiful, controllable plant. Take cuttings from existing ivy, 4 to 6 inches long with several leaves. Remove the bottom leaves, leaving just the top few. Roots develop quickly, usually within 10 days. Ivy grown in water stays compact and manageable. The vines trail gracefully, and you can train them to climb or cascade however you want. One note: ivy prefers cooler temperatures and doesn't do well in hot, dry indoor environments. But if you have a cooler room or a spot away from heating vents, it thrives. Coleus is known for its vibrant, multicolored leaves, reds, purples, greens, yellows, all mixed in intricate patterns. Most people grow it as an annual outdoor plant, but Coleus roots effortlessly in water and can live indoors year-round. Take a cutting just below a node. Remove the lower leaves. Place in water in a bright location. Coleus needs good light to maintain its intense colors. Within a week, roots appear. The plant continues growing, producing new colorful leaves constantly. Coleus grown in water actually grows faster than Coleus in soil because the roots have constant access to moisture and nutrients if you add diluted fertilizer. You can keep a single Coleus plant going indefinitely by taking cuttings and restarting whenever the original gets leggy. Wandering Jew, also called Tradescantia or inch plant, is one of the fastest growing houseplants you can cultivate. It roots in water almost instantly. Seriously, you'll see root nubs forming within 3 to 4 days. The striped leaves, purple, silver, green, create a striking visual, especially when the roots are visible through clear glass. Tradescantia grows so vigorously in water that you'll need to trim it regularly to keep it from taking over. But that's a good problem to have because every cutting becomes a new plant. This is the plant for impatient people. If you want to see fast, visible growth, Tradescantia in water delivers. Most people don't realize begonias can grow in water. They assume flowering plants require soil. They're wrong. Rex begonias and angel-wing begonias both adapt beautifully to water culture. Take a stem cutting with at least 2 nodes. Remove lower leaves. Place in water in bright, indirect light. Roots develop within 2 weeks. The plant continues growing and will even produce flowers if it gets enough light. Begonias in water require slightly more attention than some other plants on this list. They prefer filtered or distilled water rather than tap water with high mineral content. But the trade-off is gorgeous foliage and occasional blooms with zero soil. Arrowhead plants have leaves that change shape as they mature, starting arrow-shaped and becoming more lobed as they age. They root easily in water and adapt quickly to permanent water culture. Cuttings root within a week. The plant grows steadily, producing new leaves regularly. Arrowhead plants come in varieties ranging from solid green to pink, white, and variegated patterns. All of them grow well in water. One interesting trait: arrowhead plants grown in water tend to stay more compact than those in soil, making them ideal for smaller spaces. Monstera deliciosa, the split-leaf philodendron, has become incredibly trendy in recent years. Those distinctive perforated leaves show up everywhere in interior design. What most people don't know: you can grow Monstera in water. Take a cutting with at least one node and one leaf. Place in water. Roots emerge from the node within 2 to 3 weeks. Monstera grown in water won't get as large as soil-grown specimens, but it will produce those characteristic split leaves and continue growing steadily. This is an expensive plant to buy fully grown, but one cutting in water can give you a thriving Monstera for free. Chinese evergreens are prized for their ability to tolerate extremely low light conditions, the kind of dim corners where most plants die. And they grow beautifully in water. Take a stem cutting, place in water. The plant roots and continues growing even in spaces with minimal natural light. Chinese evergreens come in varieties with silver, red, pink, and green foliage patterns. All adapt well to water culture. This is the plant for that dark bathroom or windowless office where nothing else survives. Impatiens are typically grown as outdoor annual flowers, the ones that bloom prolifically in shady gardens all summer, then die when frost hits. But impatiens root instantly in water and can live indoors as permanent houseplants. Take cuttings before the first frost. Place in water. They'll root within days and continue blooming indoors if they get enough light. You can keep impatiens alive year-round this way, taking cuttings and restarting as needed. Free, endless flowers with zero soil required. Peace lilies are famous for their air-purifying abilities and their distinctive white flowers. Most people grow them in soil, but peace lilies actually prefer wet conditions and adapt remarkably well to water culture. You can't propagate peace lilies from cuttings like most plants on this list. Instead, you divide the root ball of an existing plant, wash all the soil off the roots, and place the division directly into water. The roots adapt within a few weeks. The plant continues growing and will produce its characteristic white spathes, the flowers, regularly. Peace lilies in water are nearly impossible to kill. They tell you when they need water by drooping slightly, and in water culture, that problem disappears entirely. Dieffenbachia, commonly called dumb cane, has large variegated leaves that make a bold statement. It roots readily in water from stem cuttings. Cut a section of stem with at least one node. Place in water. Roots develop within 2 to 3 weeks. Dieffenbachia continues growing in water, producing new leaves regularly. The plant stays compact and manageable compared to soil-grown specimens. One caution: the sap is toxic if ingested, so keep it away from pets and children. But in terms of ease of care and water, it's remarkably simple. Aluminum plants get their name from the silvery metallic markings on their leaves, which look almost painted on. They're small, compact plants that root easily in water and stay attractive for years. Take stem cuttings, place in water. Roots appear within a week. Aluminum plants grown in water maintain their distinctive coloring and compact growth habit. They're perfect for small containers and limited spaces. Purple heart is a vibrant purple-leaved plant that creates dramatic cascades of color. It roots almost instantly in water, often within 3 days. The purple coloration intensifies when the plant gets bright light, making it visually stunning in clear glass containers where the roots and stems are visible. Purple heart grows aggressively in water, producing long trailing vines quickly. Regular trimming keeps it manageable, and every cutting becomes a new plant. This one surprises people. You can grow sweet potato vines in water. Take a sweet potato from the grocery store. Suspend it partially in water using toothpicks, with the bottom third submerged. Roots grow from the bottom. Vines sprout from the top. Within weeks, you have a lush, cascading plant with beautiful heart-shaped leaves. Sweet potato vines grown in water can get massive, vines extending 6 feet or more, and they cost basically nothing. When you're done with it, you can actually plant the whole thing and harvest sweet potatoes. Here's something practical. Many culinary herbs thrive in water. Basil, oregano, mint, and even rosemary will root from cuttings and continue growing in water indefinitely. Take cuttings from existing plants or from bunches you buy at the grocery store. Remove lower leaves. Place in water on a sunny windowsill. Roots develop within a week or 2. The herbs continue growing, and you can harvest fresh leaves whenever you need them. This gives you a permanent, renewable source of fresh herbs for cooking at essentially zero cost. Basil is particularly impressive. It grows fast in water and produces abundant leaves that you can harvest continuously. Growing plants in water is simpler than soil in many ways, but there are a few things to know. Water quality matters. Tap water works fine for most plants, but if your municipal water is heavily chlorinated or has high mineral content, let it sit out for 24 hours before using, or use filtered water. Change the water regularly. Every 1 to 2 weeks is ideal. This prevents bacterial buildup and keeps oxygen levels adequate for root health. Light requirements don't change. Plants that need bright light in soil still need bright light in water. Don't assume water culture changes their fundamental light needs. Fertilizer becomes important long-term. In soil, plants get nutrients from organic matter. In water, there's nothing. Add a diluted liquid fertilizer every few weeks to keep plants healthy. Use about 1/4 the recommended strength. Algae can develop in clear containers. If sunlight hits the water directly, algae may grow. This doesn't harm the plant, but it looks unappealing. Use opaque containers or wrap clear containers in fabric to block light from the water while still allowing light to reach the leaves. Root health is visible. This is actually an advantage. You can see immediately if roots are healthy, white or light tan, or if there's a problem, brown, mushy, or slimy. With soil, you're guessing. With water, you know. Here's an honest question. If growing plants in water is this easy and effective, why doesn't everyone do it? A few reasons. First, the gardening industry makes enormous profits selling potting soil, fertilizers, pots, drainage trays, and all the accessories that go with soil-based growing. There's no financial incentive to promote a method that requires basically nothing. Second, there's cultural conditioning. For generations, people have been taught that plants need soil. It's assumed. It's default knowledge. Suggesting otherwise sounds wrong, even when it's demonstrably true. Third, Water culture doesn't scale well for large commercial operations. Nurseries and garden centers grow thousands of plants at once, and soil-based systems are more practical at that scale. So the plants you buy are always in soil, reinforcing the assumption that's where they belong. But for individuals growing plants at home, water culture is often superior. It's cleaner, there's no mess, it's easier to see what's happening with the roots. There's no risk of overwatering or underwatering. The plant takes what it needs. There are no fungus gnats or soil-borne pests, and it costs virtually nothing. 18 plants that will thrive in nothing but water: pothos, philodendron, spider plant, lucky bamboo, English ivy, coleus, wandering Jew, begonia, arrowhead plant, monstera, Chinese evergreen, impatiens, peace lily, dumb cane, aluminum plant, purple heart, sweet potato vine, and culinary herbs like basil and mint. Some of these will live in water for years without ever needing soil. Some will flower. Some will propagate themselves endlessly, giving you dozens of free plants. All of them prove that the standard way of growing houseplants, pots, soil, drainage, fertilizer, repotting, isn't the only way. In many cases, it's not even the best way. Water culture is simpler, cleaner, cheaper, and often results in healthier, faster-growing plants. The method works. It's been proven in both traditional practice and modern hydroponic agriculture. The only reason it's not mainstream for houseplants is because there's no money in teaching people a method that requires them to buy almost nothing. But you don't need permission or expensive equipment to try it. Take a cutting, put it in a jar of water. Watch what happens. You'll have a thriving plant within weeks, and you'll wonder why you ever bothered with soil in the first place. If this opened your eyes to a completely different way of growing plants, subscribe to Rooted Homestead. We focus on the practical, low-cost, forgotten methods that actually work, the ones that don't require you to buy products or depend on commercial systems. Drop a comment and tell me which of these 18 plants you're going to try first. Or if you're already growing plants in water, share your experience. And share this video with anyone who thinks they can't keep plants alive. Water culture is about as foolproof as it gets. See you in the next one.